Now, the truth of the matter is, sometimes as a parent, you just end up being busy with life, being busy trying to find money, or just not being present in your child's life so much so that it becomes a very obvious gap in your relationship with your child. And unfortunately, at one point or another, as these children are growing, you're going to have to sit down and explain the situation. And I see this happening a lot, especially with like young moms. It's like you have to go to work, you're at work most of the day, you only see your kid like every 2 seconds, or ultimately something happened and you lost custody of your child, and now you have to find your way back into this child's life. Either way, it is a sticky icky, and you have to find a way to show yourself as part of your child's life. And I see Mama Olive being a very good, you know, voice of reason and voice of explaining this situation, because unfortunately she and her baby daddy, they keep doing what they do. Okay, Mara he's here, Mara he's not, Mara raising children as a single mother, and then he shows up. I mean, it is what it is. So the baby daddy, they were together for a while and they ended up calling it quits. So she's trying to give us ideas on how you ease the conversation of, hey, I'm not here. How do I tell my children and explain it to them that I am not here? And I think, honestly, in these particular cases, that's a difficult conversation to have. And being the parent in our group, what do you think would be one way of easing into this conversation?
In most separation situations, or where co-parenting is involved and one parent has more custody over the other, it's always important to reassure your children that it's not their fault. It's not their fault that you two broke up. It's not their fault that the parents are, going through this situation. It's not their fault. Always make sure that at the end of the day, they know that your separation is not their fault.
Yeah.
And it has to be a very age-appropriate conversation where you say, Mommy and Daddy are just going through grown-up stuff. They are trying to, figure out some things. And unfortunately, you have to be staying with me. And also, you can be staying with your dad. We can be switching in between our two different locations and our two different homes. And even like given the perspective of, now you have two homes. Now you have bedrooms in two homes. Now you have a two of everything. Like, try to bring out the positive in the narrative, the positive in the situation, and just keep assuring them that it's not their fault. So you've seen the memes about, being a child of divorce and how you always feel like, Loki, it was you. It was a you thing. Like, you were the reason your parents fought so much. And mostly because, like, when you have a disagreement about pickup and you have a disagreement about schools and finances, it always centers about the child. So the child might feel like, they're fighting because of me. Like, I'm the reason they broke up. So even when you guys are fighting or disagreeing, can you not do it in front of the kids? And also moms, because moms are guilty of this. Can you not trauma dump on your children? African mothers. You remember, like, sometimes in some homes, like, you grew up with this warped perception of who your dad was simply because your mother would trauma dump on you. Any disagreement they have with their husband, she comes and tell you, "Uyo baba yako amefanya hivi hivi hivi," and it's so emotionally charged, and you end up hating your dad, but you never got to hear his perspective. And even now, as an adult, I have to do a lot of unlearning and figure out and kind of realize that even my dad was a victim in all of this. Like, even him, he was probably reacting to some BS that was thrown around. But I took my mother's side because she trauma dumped on me first. So stop trauma dumping on your children. Ukikosana na baba yake, kwani hauna girlfriends? Go scream in your phone, go do something, but don't come and tell your kids how horrible their father is and how sijui he has not given you money, he's stingy, he's selfish. That's none of their business.
Yeah, you've mentioned two very important ones, which is it's hard to have this conversation, but it is important to say it. And also, you've said don't badmouth the other parent, because, like, Turi has surmised it very well. There's no need to break it down even further. But another one is just also learning the verbiage, because children are different. If they're really, 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 really young kids, it's important to find the right way of saying these things to the kids, because it's like they always come to you with such innocence of like, "Oh, I see Nani with their dad, where is mine? I see Nani with they were taken for a picnic on Sunday. They went for a movie with the mom and the dad. Where is my dad? Where is my mom?" It's important for you to find the right verbiage and the right language to speak to your children, because ultimately you have to be delicate. And for example, Mama Olive said, families look different, and this is unfortunately how ours is right now. So it's okay to accept different looks of families. Not every family needs to look exactly the same way. I am here for you. If you want to talk about it, I am here for you. Either way, I will always be here for you, right? That's like a small kid who doesn't really understand it. And for a bigger kid, it's just saying, your dad or your mom isn't going to be involved as much, but let me be. If you have any questions, if you have any worries, concerns, just please talk to me directly. But making it clear that their dad may not be involved as much, their mom may not be involved as much, but you are a constant figure and they shouldn't be worried that you will be going anywhere. You know, it's giving them comfort in a difficult phase of you may not see them. So making it aware, as opposed to say, atakuja next week. You know, that also heartbreaking a child so young. He'll come next week, you'll see him next week, you'll see her next week, or she'll come, she's just gone somewhere, she'll be back. There's no reason to do that. You keep constantly breaking your child's heart, and that is sad. Making it clear that, yeah, you may not see your dad for a long time, that's okay. You may not see your mom for a long time, that's okay, but I'm here. I am family. If you need anything, you come to me first. So I felt that was helpful.
And also, I love how, you know, like this generation of parents are really embracing therapy and also seeking help from professionals. And more specifically, not religious-based psychiatrists or counselors or therapists, but rather professionals who are going to be very unbiased when it comes to your child. Because unfortunately, and I have experienced this, where your child came to you with a problem and you felt like, oh, this is a bit beyond me. Let me seek professional help. And instead of going to an actual, you know, counselor or an actual therapist, you go to a church. You go to a church counselor, and it becomes very warped because there are very many biases when it comes to religion, and it makes things, you know, stop going to religious counselors for problems, especially when it's family problems. Even ladies, when it's something to do with your marriage or something you're struggling with, I would advise you, instead of going to a religious therapist or a counselor, go to just a professional and biased counselor. Stop. I'm not saying the church ones are bad or anything, but there's a bias there. And it's very distinct. And sometimes it can feel like very invalidating of your feeling, because an aspect of God is introduced. You know, like, why did you not introduce God into your problem? And I'm just like, hey, come on, you know. So please seek professional help. And don't make it look like your child is out of control and this is like the last option, like this is the bomb. Enda huko usaidiwe. Also ask them for consent. Like, do you feel like I'm not helping you enough? Can we ask for professional help? Not just like picking them up to school and dropping them at a psychiatrist's office. That makes no sense. Ask for their consent. Ask, would you like to speak to somebody else? You know, if they say, no, I'm comfortable speaking to you, that is okay. Consent when it comes to your kids.
Because it's really about navigating. If you're like, hey, I'm trying to navigate this along with you, so I think maybe we need to speak to someone else, or something like that. Find ways. Your children, you know them best. But in addition to that, also just acknowledging their feelings. You know, it's like, where's daddy? I'm sad. Instead of telling them, why are you sad? It's okay. You'll be fine. Just be kind and tell them, I understand that you're sad and it will be sad for a while. And there's nothing wrong with being sad. You know, you don't have your parent, it's okay to be sad, but don't worry, I am here for you. It's like you're acknowledging their feelings, being delicate about it, but at the same time reassuring them and making them feel safe that you will be there. You will be the constant. And there's nothing more. You know, sometimes when as a parent, you're in your own headspace so much, because it's not like this person left just the children, they left you too, you know. You're also navigating this difficult breakup, you're also navigating this difficult time of not having someone, the guilt, the anger, all of the feelings, you're feeling them as well. So in the same way that you're soothing yourself and finding comfort, is the same way that you're relaying this soothing and comfort to your children as well. And it is difficult because children will always have questions. They forget so quickly. So it's like they're constantly reminding you of the same thing. Like I told you yesterday, you know, don't lash out. If so, it's like, Mom, but you said yesterday. No, 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 it's okay. Like, yeah, I know I said that yesterday, but today I need you to understand X, Y, Z. And I know you're feeling sad. And there's nothing wrong with feeling sad 1 minute and feeling happy 1 minute. It's okay. Like, you're just helping this child navigate through a difficult time in their life, and the better you help them, the better a person they will become in the end. They won't deal with neglect in this way. You know, children end up having like daddy issues and mother issues. It's simply because these issues are not mitigated and talked about and navigated in the right way. So it's okay to assure them that you're there. But when their father or their mother comes back, it's okay for you to also tell them, just accept them for who they are, you know, as opposed to having this bitterness and anger. It's a difficult chat, though. Yeah, it's a difficult chat.
It is difficult.
I think ultimately she gives many good points. Reassuring them that you love them, making them feel safe, reinforcing that it's not their fault, especially that, preparing for follow-up questions. She says, give them space to express themselves and encourage the relationship with their parent, and also, as Turi has said, seek support where needed. It's a difficult space to be in, just like any loss. It's a difficult space to be in, and yeah, I think another important one is establishing boundaries, I feel. Because then you have a parent who will just show up, drop gifts, disappear for another 6 months. Show up, talk badly about you to your children, you know? Establishing boundaries for the safety of your children is also important. If this other party doesn't respect the rules that you've set in place, the boundaries that you've set in place, it's okay to also just stop them from coming in and messing up this whole situation. Because the same way Turi just said, oh, you're talking smack about the father, is the same way that the father can be speaking smack about, hey, you know, your mother Kwanzaa, she's very stupid, that's why I didn't, you know, there are people who are just like that, evil, malicious. So be mindful of creating the safe boundaries for your children as well from the other parent if they are being toxic, weird, strange, or disrespectful in any way. That's been our show. My name is Kathomi. If you have any other tips, let us know.
My name is Turi Faye. Have a lovely weekend.